One of the common questions we have from our clients early on is, how do we go about an electronic data strategy? Well, what we do is we provide a framework that's really threefold on how clients are able to move to an electronic data environment. The first is we have a vendor portal, and that was the first piece that we incorporated about 5 years ago, where our clients can actually direct their vendors to log on to their invoice management system over the web and create their invoice directly in the Avid software. That typically works well for small, medium-sized vendors, but it's tough to get a large, vendor, or they say the utility company, to log on and do a second process. But the second piece that we released earlier this year in 2007 was we call our Invoice API. And what that allows us to do is directly map to particular vendor files, large vendors, say the utility companies that have a defined file format that we can map to and directly receive their invoices directly into our application electronically. Again, it eliminates all the paper from the process. And then the last piece of it is something that we're really excited about is today, and it's a rapidly growing number, we have estimate roughly 50% of all the vendors interacting with our application each month, which is well north of 200,000 vendors, utilize QuickBooks as their core accounting application. And what we're doing is, especially leveraging our partnership with Intuit, is we created a QuickBooks plugin that our clients will be able to distribute to all their vendors, allow the QuickBooks vendors to submit their invoices directly to the Avid Invoice application from QuickBooks seamlessly, and to provide all the controls and confirmations that the process has been completed. And those are the things that we're doing to create a roadmap for our clients and how they eliminate the paper and move to a true electronic environment on the front end to replace the scanning of paper invoices. One of the things that I'm really excited about is, the CEO of the company is really where Avid's going to be over the next several years. And I've talked about it, before, but we really believe that we're helping the accounts payable company function become a strategic function for our clients. It's moving at gaining higher visibility with the chief financial officer, chief accounting officers within our clients. And why is that? And that is because this process is moving from what historically has been a paper-intensive, human labor-intensive process to a highly automated process that provides now companies real-time access up to their data and information, how they manage their properties, their expenses, and their portfolios. So just the notion of real-time expense management and enable our clients to better manage their cash flow and their working capital requirements across their portfolio is helping them, this function, become more strategic. And then when we start adding in some of the impact of electronic data, dynamic vendor discounting, and where we're taking this process, it becomes a real treasury management function of the accounting of what used to be a manual accounting process. And so that's why we're so excited in terms of where we see our business going and really where the industry is. And as the leader in the industry, one of our jobs is to keep pushing the envelope to move the entire industry forward and evangelize the benefits of doing this. There's probably a big debate internally at Avid in terms of all the initiatives that we have that we're working on, whether it be to make the core application, continue to make it easier to use, provide more user interface type functionality for all the different constituents that use it, to what I'll say kind of more bigger impact type of development initiatives. And the one that I'm probably the most passionate about is just what we're doing, for example, with electronic data related with all our QuickBooks vendors. Our Avid bill for QuickBooks, day one is dramatically going to impact and change how our clients interact with their vendors and how they're able to significantly cut down the paper from all their small, medium-sized vendors very quickly across their entire portfolio. And just that single development effort in terms of the impact that it's going to have on our clients is what makes me probably the most excited in terms of a single development effort that we have going on. I think what really makes us different are two things. One is how we deliver our application, our technology. We're a true hosted ASP, software as a service application. And what that means is our clients entirely eliminate the IT infrastructure and resources they need to maintain software internally because we host it on their behalf. That's kind of the technical piece that makes us different. The other piece is the execution piece, and that is utilizing our domain knowledge and best practices. We call it business process excellence in terms of taking all the domain knowledge, best practices, and experiences that we have in working with 100 plus other companies that are very similar to, say, a new company that we may be working with, and how we apply those experiences to make their business process different. And then the last piece of it is our team itself, and we really pride ourselves in terms of the team who we have, and we call it our human capital. And from my perspective as the CEO, the human capital is the most important type of capital that we have as a company. As being the co-founder and the CEO of a startup company, 8 years ago, my role has changed dramatically over time. At the beginning, it was really all about really being an evangelist for the industry and being an early industry on why it makes sense for companies to do this. Sometimes I felt I was a little bit on an island, kind of moving the whole industry forward myself. But it was really more of an evangelist role out in the marketplace, talking about why companies should do this. And then that migrated into kind of more functional roles within the company, where I had an active role in running, whether it be our sales organization, being heavily involved in how clients get implemented and delivered, to the marketing aspect of it. And then today, it's really more about managing the human capital and getting the right people in the right positions to highly execute as a high growth company. So it's getting people to play to their strengths and making sure, as we call it internally, getting the right people in the right seats on the right bus.